Well, hello there, book sniffers. Today on this episode of Red Ink, I'm going to talk a little bit more about character building. All readers love to hear compliments on their books. They love to hear, oh, I loved that book, or that book was fantastic. But the favorite compliment is, I couldn't put the book down. And it essentially boils down to the development of the characters. Were the characters in that book people that the readers could relate to? Were they characters that touched us in some way? And the only way that you're going to do that is through practice and through some research. I've come up with the top 5 elements, or the top 5 ways for you to develop those characters. If you're really interested in creating a 3-dimensional character, watch the end of the video. I will have a bonus on how to create that 3-dimensional characters. So here we go. Know your archetypes. Since the time of Gilgamesh, which is the very first known written story, we have developed archetypes. And as much as you authors out there want to push against this, you have to know them. And the reason is because every character fulfills a role in some way. And if you don't know those roles and you try to cross characters over or change what they're supposed to be doing mid-story, your readers will reject you, and they will have this natural instinct to kind of be like, this doesn't make sense. So you need to understand archetypes. Is your character the innocent? Is he the sage, or she the goddess? Do you have a character that's in there as a hero, or are they the ruler? So there are lots of different things that you need to know about archetypes and whether or not your characters are fulfilling their role appropriately or not. So know archetypes. Second, know the hero's journey. So again, Gilgamesh started this whole hero's journey thing, and we have been telling these stories for thousands of years. And for thousands of years, these stories have followed this pattern. And it was Joseph Campbell who discovered this pattern, or actually took the time to actually write about it in his book, The Hero with 1,000 Faces. If you don't have a copy of this book, you need to get one. You need to read it, and you need to know it and study it. There is a pattern that your protagonist usually goes through, and it doesn't have to have all the elements of a hero's journey, but there is a pattern that the reader is expecting. And so you need to make sure that your reader is going through that. And this holds true for not only fiction, but nonfiction as well. So you need to make sure that you understand and know the hero's journey inside and out. Number 3, make your characters flawed. A lot of people think that they have this pretty much down. One of the things that readers really need when they're reading your story is they need to feel connected or bonded to your character. And so make sure that you're giving them flaws that your readers can relate to. Are they weak in their self-confidence? Do they lack the ability to have self-control? Do they have anger issues? So make sure that you're tapping into those kinds of flaws that we as readers can actually relate to and hopefully overcome through your story. Number 4, make your character likable. We love anti-heroes. I mean, anti-heroes are fantastic. But again, we need to feel connected to those anti-heroes. We need to feel connected to any of your protagonists or any of your point of view characters. We need to feel like they're likable. And in some way, we even like to like villains. So make sure that you're somehow giving them a characteristic that we are interested in and can relate to. Good example is Han Solo. He's a classic anti-hero.
What? Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Who's scruffy looking?
One of the things that makes him not likable is he's gruff, he's kind of mean, he's crude and crass, but he lets himself become soft in certain points of the story when he tells Princess Leia that he loves her. The other thing that he does is he's hilarious. We love laughing with Han Solo and his jokes. He is funny. So he is a good example of making a not likable character likable. Number 5, draw from your own experience. Do not write about something you don't know or don't understand or can't relate to. And if you want to write about something that you don't understand, can't relate to, or don't know, do your research. Great example of this is recently a really good friend of mine posted that he was learning to pick the locks, and he posted on Facebook that he was like picking locks in his house, and it was kind of funny. He was doing research for his book, and it was because he wanted to know what was involved. And so do your research, go somewhere, travel somewhere. If you're going to write about Rome, you better get some flavors of Rome. And if you can't make yourself go to Rome, then at least do the research or interview people that have been there and try to find something that internally feels like you've been there so that you can write about it. So do your research. Here's the bonus. Here it is. We're going to talk about the three-dimensional character. So we all know that you have to physically describe your character. That's the first dimension, is your physical description of your character. And so you want to make sure that that character is somehow described. Now, there are some tricks to doing this. You can do it through the eyes of another character, or through the mannerisms or actions that the character displays. For example, you wouldn't say he has a beard. That's boring. You can say he stroked his beard as he thought about the problem at hand. Things like that. So you can give your characteristics to a character through the actions. Do that. It's smarter, and it also gets the reader more interested in what you're doing, and you're showing, not telling. Second thing, make sure you have a dark moment story. There's a really great book out there called The Story Equation, and it talks a lot about the dark moment story. You need to have a dark moment story for your character before the story begins. This is that incident that started the character on this problem, this lie that he believes or she believes. So make sure that you have that dark moment story established before you write your story, because this is the motivation that moves your character through the plot. And if you don't have that dark moment story, if you don't have that inner motivation already established, your arc is going to fall flat, and you're not going to have a character that's relatable, or even two dimensions. The third dimension is actually their moral character, their decision making. And one of the things that you want to do is you want to surprise your readers. So when you're having your character go through their world, and the reader thinks they've got you figured out, and they know what that character is going to do based on that dark moment story, or based on those internal characteristics and motivations, surprise them. Have your character make a decision that's not predictable. And that is how you're going to have a three-dimensional character. I hope that this video helped you come up with the ways that you could really fully develop your character. If I missed something, or if you feel like there's something that I need to touch more on, go ahead and comment below and let me know. And I'm happy to answer questions or comments that you have. Continue to write, continue to research, hone your craft, really learn what you're doing. I wish you all the best. Happy writing, book sniffers.